Oh, here we are. We're live. You saw me trying to adjust it so I can get all the great beard in. You gotta respect the beard, man. Uh Sorry I didn't come in Saturday like I usually do, but I was out sick with the virus, I guess it was. Mm. Uh Sick Sunday, but feeling better. Feeling better but still sick today. So I had a whole weekend of it. But I'm over it now, so that's good. Wish I could say some things have changed since we last spoke, but to be perfectly honest, that'd be a lie. And I'm trying not to lie. First of all, let's have a couple of history lessons. Now, I wrote this on one of my Facebooks, but I will address this situation again. One of the charges, first thing is, one of the charges against Donald Trump is that he was leading an insurrection and was part of an insurrection after he had taken an oath for the United States of America. Now, that is a pretty far-reaching crime. I mean, you had to go out into the left field bleachers to catch that ball. Let's take a look at the amendment. The 14th Amendment is one of the three Civil War amendments. The oath they were talking about was not the oath of president, was not the oath of Congress, was not the oath of going into the military, any of those oaths. The oath that they were talking about was the oath that the South was forced to sign in order to become part of the Union again. It was the Northern states' way of further humiliating the South after the war. Now, I don't know who come up with that, but, they were pretty smart to come up with it. But it don't fit. Now, that's your little history lesson on that. Speaking of Trump, looking at Georgia, it does not look good for Fannie. Fannie, I just want to know why you had to go to Belize, why you had to take those 6 other trips with Nathan Wade when you're supposed to be spending all that money on the Donald Trump case. Why are you lying about when it began? If it's not a lie, just show your texts. Then we'll all see that you didn't lie. And the Ashley merchant was barking up the wrong tree all the time and wasted everybody's time. Not only that, but you're tampering with witnesses. We got that from 2 other DAs. Now, anybody else I would question, I really would. But coming from 2 other district attorneys, I don't question that too much. On a bigger note, before I go start chasing rabbits again, you know how I am. Sometimes my mind jumps track. The election right now, according to all the polling shows on YouTube, and there are several that you can watch. If you would like me to send you where they are, just let me know, and I will send you the latest ones as soon as I see them to jmferguson123@gmail.com. Donald Trump is flipping all the states that Biden flipped to win. As of right now, if the election was held today, according to their reports, Trump would have 302 electoral votes. Only 270 is needed to win. So he's winning. So what we could be seeing here is a situation that goes back way back to the late 1800s. This is your second history lesson. To a president by the name of Grover Cleveland. Now, Grover Cleveland was elected, lost the election to Benjamin Harrison, the grandson of my favorite president, William Henry Harrison, who, when he gave his inaugural speech, everyone was screaming, 4 more weeks, 4 more weeks. In case some of you don't get that, it's because William Henry died 4 weeks into his presidential term, and John Tyler had to take over. And until recently, John Tyler still had grandsons alive. The genetic jackhammer. All right. That's all I got to say about that. I could go further, but some kids might be watching, so we won't. Anyway, Grover Cleveland won a term. Benjamin Harrison defeated Grover Cleveland, and Grover Cleveland came back and won his second term. The only president to win non-consecutive terms. So what does that mean for Trump? Well, history is on his side as of right now. And Biden can say all he wants about how inflation's down, how he's created all these millions of jobs. Man, I hear that from every president. Oh, hail the mighty presidents of the United States. Well, I'd say something else, but it's like I say, I'm a Christian. There are times I'm not a Christian, though, or at least a small part of me is. We'll get to that in a minute, because I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to get in the flesh in this video, because there's some things that need to be said that I'm sick of, and I'm going to say them. One of these days, I'm going to come up here, and we're just going to have I'm mad, and I'm going to tell you what I'm mad at, and then y'all can, in the comments below, tell me what you're mad about. Also, if you don't mind, hit that button and give me a like. If you ain't subscribed to me, this would be a good time to subscribe. And then, if you like this video, tell somebody you like about it and have them subscribe. If you don't like the video, tell somebody you don't like about it so you can waste their time, like you wasted your time watching this. Getting back to where Trump stands in history. Doing a lot better staying on topic. It's looking pretty good for him right now. Prices are up. Gas is going back up. Gas is back almost over $3. And I'll admit that's one reason why I would vote for Trump is just for the gas prices, because my truck I bought runs on over $100 per tank when the gas was up. It still runs about $50, so I still drive my blue car a lot. It only takes $30 to fill it up. I carried out 5 sacks of groceries, and it cost me $350, and that's why I'm not voting for Biden. I don't care what Biden says. As far as I'm concerned, Biden is one of the biggest liars in the state. I don't care that he's got dementia. If you're going to lie, I'm going to call you out on it, whether you got dementia, whether you're the number one preacher in the world. If you go to lie, I'm going to call you out on it. That's why God kept me here. When it costs you over $100 to fill your tank of gas up, or when you go to the store and you have to fill out loan papers to pay for your groceries, there's something going on, and I'm not the only one. There's lots of people out there. I hear stories all the time that people can't afford the utility bills in some areas. People can't afford their gas bills. People can't afford their grocery bills. Shoot, to go out to eat almost takes about $200 or $300 now. There's got to be a way to get this under control. Now, I know there isn't, because I know what the Bible says. And at Oak Grove, we're doing a Sunday night Revelation studies. We're about to get to the good. We're about to finish up on the 7 churches and get to the good stuff. And the good stuff tells you almost immediately, when the horsemen come out riding, the prices ain't going to go down. Prices are going to go up. It's going to cost a day's wage to get 1 meal a day. I guarantee it's about that now. Family, I don't see how a large family or family of 4 or family of 3 can even make a living now with just one person in the family working. Used to be you could. Of course, back in my day, growing up, gas was only 25 cents a gallon. We like to die when it went up to 34 cents a gallon. Imagine what it'd be. Imagine what some of those people would be now if they saw it $3 a gallon. There are times I'm glad my parents, my brother are not down here, and this is one of them. Okay. So history lesson right now will show that Trump may, in fact, retake the White House to be the second president to serve unconsecutive terms. Will it happen? We don't know yet, because we haven't had the presidential meetings yet. My prediction, and I've been predicting it, you can go back the last 3 or 4 videos. I'm predicting it again this year, that it will not be Trump and Biden. Even Vivek Pastrami, or whatever his name is saying that. You know, Pastrami, he's a pretty smart fella if you listen to him. Although I wish he had a more pronounceable name. Now, I want to say, A&W root beer is probably one of the better root beers on the market. So there's Pepsi's plug. I have nothing but shame for America right now. I look across America and I see an anti-Israel wave crossing America. I'm not saying this is going to be a slam dunk election. It's not going to be a slam dunk election. It's going to be a tough election. Now, us Christians are already under battle, man, that we've been declared Christian nationalists. We back into the evil Israeli organization. Let me tell you exactly why Israel's hated. Let me tell you exactly why Christians are hated. And it all goes back to Satan. Satan did everything in the world to stop the line of Jesus. Satan couldn't. So Jesus was born. What did Satan do after Jesus was born? He tried to kill Jesus in Bethlehem, killing every boy, baby, 2 years and under. Satan didn't stop there. Satan, throughout the 3-year ministry of Jesus, tried to kill him before he got to the cross. Oh, he gave Jesus 3 chances. I will give Satan that. He gave Jesus 3 chances. Can't say Satan was unfair about that. Well, yeah, you can, because Satan's about as unfair as you can get. But when Jesus didn't turn, he tried to have them killed several times. But it wasn't Jesus' time yet. Then Jesus goes to the cross, he dies, and resurrects on the 3rd day, and Satan knows he's lost the war. So what does Satan do? Satan wants to punish the Israelites, and he wants to punish the Christians for Calvary. He set Calvary up, and when it didn't go his way, he decides then to come after us. That's why Israel is having so much trouble today. That's why Israel's always had trouble. That, and Israel's filled with a bunch of stiff-necked people, and trust me, I know stiff-necked people, being a stiff-necked myself. That's why most of my life I've spent away from God, wondering if I was a Christian, and praying there. Every time I take a breath, I pray for salvation. Still do in some days when the devil's really on me. But I figure if the devil's doing everything, if the demons are doing everything they can to convince me I'm not a Christian, that I must be a Christian. And that's going to be important in the next few years, is to be a Christian. You want to be a Christian before the 4 horsemen ride. Now, we've talked about the rapture numerous times. We just don't know when it's going to happen. Will it be a pre-rapture? Will it be mid-rapture? Or, as people are now teaching, a late in the tribulation rapture. And the only reason why I say that, I may have mentioned this last week, I don't know. I can't even remember what I did yesterday sometimes. And sometimes words get getting harder and harder to come up with. That Paul says the rapture will come at the last trump of God. Now, if you go back toward the end of Revelations, the end of Revelations has the last trump as part of the last of the judgments. So does that mean we may be here through the Great Tribulation? I don't know. As I said, the more I study eschatology or the end times, the more I don't know. I never thought I'd see the day the United States would turn against Israel. I never thought I'd see the day when people would accept people coming across our borders. I never thought I'd see the day when criminals would walk the streets and we're locked up in our houses like we're in jail. Now, it was bad growing up, I guarantee you. Well, I was part of the generation. I call it a transition generation between the times you could leave your house unlocked and the times you had to lock your house back up. There's many times I went over to my grandmother's house and I just walked on through the front door because they wasn't home, and I knew that they'd be home soon, so I just went on in and waited for them. Nowadays, you can't do that. Nowadays, if you leave your door open, unlocked, people gonna come in, steal what you got, and go off with it. People don't care anymore. Never thought I'd see the day the churches would have to lock their doors for Sunday morning services, Sunday night services, and Wednesday night services for those that still has those. Never thought I'd have to see the day the churches would. Yeah, and that does make me angry. I never thought I'd see the day when the country would be split in half with racism. I know y'all say Trump's racist, but all them politicians are using race to keep us apart from each other. America and the rest of the world, I've always said, and I believe this to my heart, that over 90% of the Americans and world people are stupid. You'll watch the news, and some of y'all will watch Fox, and you're going to believe everything Fox tells you. And Fox, even though some of them are conservative, they're going to tell you everything on a conservative slant. But I promise you, they're not always telling you everything. The rest of you listen to the other news, which is liberal, and they're not telling you everything. They only both sides are just telling you what's going to help them. And you know what? Son of a gun, y'all listen to it and y'all buy it and you believe it. And you vote that way. And those of you that don't vote the way they want to, you vote because of the way your parents voted, your grandparents voted, your great-grandparents voted, your great-great-grandparents voted. Where has that gotten us? Look at the White House. World's about to go to war. And he's too busy twiddling his thumb or trying to find his way out of a room, hoping that no one sees. He's losing his mind. And Kamala's not going to be much better. She don't even know how, excuse my language, she don't even know how to talk. She repeats 5 different ways the same term. Whatever she's talking about, you guarantee you're going to hear it 5 times. 5, if you can see my hand, 5 times in 5 different ways. It's amazing what she can do. Unfortunately, she ain't got the sense God gave turkeys, and you know how stupid they are. Republicans, you ain't doing no better. You're throwing Trump back up there, who may be the better of the two, but he ain't no spring chicken, and he ain't no Abraham Lincoln either. And you know what, America, the political parties are sitting back and they're laughing at all of you. They're laughing at this whole country. They're laughing about how they're putting their people up there that they can control. You know, Congress don't work for us anymore. The president don't work for us anymore. They work for the parties. And it's your fault. We've already talked about that last week. I just wanted to bring that back up. Now, finally, some of y'all are getting it into your heads that these people aren't your friends. If you got a politician or a lawyer that's your friend, you better look at it. You better check your pocketbook and check for a knife in your back, because they'll knife you in the back and then they'll take your money. They won't take your money. They want to pay for all these illegals they're letting in. We're giving them hotel rooms, we're giving them telephones, and we're giving them spending money. That's your Congress that's doing that. That's your president that's signing that. What about our people? Our people are getting killed, and not all of them, but some of them are being killed by these people that's coming over here illegally. And I know some of y'all have requested that I use the word undocumented. Well, I got something to say to you. I can't say it on here. But I do have something I want to say to you. We'll settle that in private. They are illegal. They are breaking the law. If you're breaking the law, you're not legally over here. AOC found that out when she tried to discuss it with Tom Homan, and he set her straight. There are laws on the books that need to be enforced, and they're not being enforced, and that's why we have millions of people walking across. Fortunately, they're not walking across Texas anymore because we've cut it off. So now they're moving down to New Mexico, Arizona, and California to cross. And I hope Abbott keeps going against the United States government protecting our border. He's got my vote because he did that. And I hope Abbott wins another term, because I don't want nobody Beto backs up there. Beto's a 3-time loser. He tried to be our president. He failed. He tried to be a congressman. He failed. Tried to be a governor. He failed. Man's not even fit to be a dog catcher. Of course, I'll say that about any Republican leaders too. Well, except John Kennedy. I do like John Kennedy. Maybe Jim Jordan. But then again, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Because Republicans want to take over just as bad as the Democrats do. They're just waiting for a time when they can pass that one law that's going to destroy everything the United States works for. They say inflation is getting better. Well, you can't prove it past me because the prices are still up. And they want to try to force the prices down. And they don't want no shrink pricing. You know what shrink pricing is? You pay, you go back to paying what you paid, except you pay for less, except you get less for what you pay for. Now, if you've been watching some of the videos I've been sharing with you, we have some awfully strange stuff happening in the world. Some people are starting to hear trumpets. Now, these man-made trumpets, probably. Are they some kind of deal that naturally happening? Probably. There could be 1,000 explanations. I just thought it was kind of funny that some of them are starting to hear trumpets that they think may be getting ready for the main trumpet blast. But I will promise you one thing: when the trumpet blast does come, it won't be just a handful of people to hear it. The whole world's going to hear it. Been watching a lot of conversion stories on YouTube. I didn't realize there was so much Christian stuff on there. I've discovered Brother Cliff, who goes to college campuses and talks. I've discovered this debate teacher. He's got a great, I think it's Wise Disciple or something on the deal. He does a great job. He picks debates apart. Good fella. Probably my favorite, and I'm not sure he's a Christian, but I do pray for his soul. His name is Jesse Lee. Conservative black man. Now, some of his beliefs are, but he speaks a lot of sense. Sometimes. Then sometimes he's way out in the right field bleachers. Man, I think he's up in the nosebleed section sometimes. He's worth listening to. I think it's Jesse Lee Jackson. He's got a thing called the Fallen State. The only thing I have against him, the only reason why I think he's not a true Christian, is he does not believe Jesus was God. He believed Jesus was a perfect man, but not that he was God. You've got to believe that. You got to believe God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. There's lots of occult people coming to the Lord. There's a lot of occult people that's fighting the Lord. I didn't know they had a Satanist meeting in Boston every year. And this year I was watching a show that was showing some of the news from there, and the first thing they did was rip a Bible apart and said that they were no longer going to be oppressed by it. Later on, they made snow angels with torn up paper, with more torn up sheet pages from a Bible. But I will say this about another thing I learned. Anton LaVey, the most famous Satanist, when he was on his deathbed, he found out he made a tragic mistake. He saw what was on the other side, and it was not what he thought it was. So if you can find the last moments of Anton LaVey's life, that's worth watching. There's a lot of cool stuff on the internet if you get to really looking. Right now, everything is in place for fulfillment of revelations. For example, and I know I mentioned this last week, neuro chips are being put into people, and they have finally got that okay to start doing that to people. AI is becoming more and more prevalent. Now, what's going to be interesting is because if you get AI 4, I use AI 2, which was updated in 22, and they haven't updated it since. It was sort of the prototype. But they say AI GPT Chat 4, that if you know any skills, you can get into Dan. Now, Dan is, and I mentioned this last week, I know, and I'm going to beat this dead horse to death because I want to stress to you how dangerous this is, especially for those of you getting neuro chips or getting any kind of chips put in your. And Dan stands for D is for do anything now. And it evidently does not have the same ethics as the GPT chat AI. It will tell you exactly what it would do, how it would do it. About the craziest thing that I've ever heard Dan say was that if things were going like they are now, it foresaw, excuse me, I'm giving it human qualities. It foresaw a war between the computers and the humans, which, by the way, goes back to Revelation. About midway through Revelations, after the Antichrist dies and gets better and recovers, a huge statue is made of him that talks. And when you take the mark of the beast, I hope that we are not here, but there is now such a chance that we will be here. I still believe in pre-trib. However, I do give mid-trib a lot of thought as well. Post-trib, not as much, but a little bit more now. So for mid-tribber, we still get away from all this. The only thing we see is the Wrath of the Lamb earthquake. And that will affect everybody. But getting back to what I was saying, once the AI is put into effect by the Antichrist without the ethics, it's going to be able to control the satellites. It's going to be able to control all the countries. It's going to be able to control your bodies if you got the neuro links in your body. It will be able to find you wherever you are. If you are a Christian, and I'm not going to say not get that because I don't know what it'd be like to be crippled, and I don't know what it'd be like to be blind or deaf. I know you want to walk, you want to talk, you want to be able to hear, you want to be able to see. I know all of that. Anyone that don't want a chance for that, it's crazy. You're going to have your chance to do that. It says that Satan is going to show us a way to have the same type of miracles Jesus had. Now, if you look at Jesus cured diseases. Jesus turned water to wine. Jesus healed blind man to see, deaf man to hear, cripples walk, brought people back from the dead. Antichrist is going to be able to do all of that. But will it be by miracle or will it be by science? Because remember, the Antichrist is opposite of Jesus. So that means everything the Antichrist does is going to be opposite of what Jesus did. So where Jesus relied on his heavenly Father to give him the power, why wouldn't Satan do the same things with science? And then all of you that's not Christians, you'll sit there and you'll marvel about how great so-and-so is and how how much so-and-so loves you and how much so-and-so is doing this to help mankind, and how you will gladly take his mark and worship his statue, and no one's going to find you, be after you, and you'll be able to eat and drink and be merry, and tomorrow you die. Now, if you don't take the mark, if you don't, then you get hunted down and lose your head. Which I have no trouble with. I've probably gone in the first 6 or 7 months of tribulation anyway if I have to stay down here, which I'm not too worried about whether I'm here, there, or everywhere. I'm just saying that right now everything is pointing toward it. World War in the Middle East, scientific miracles, enemy of the state, even our country is joining the world in hating Israel. Just like the book, just like Revelations and Ezekiel and Isaiah and all the other Old Testament books and the New Testament books and Paul and Peter and all of them were predicting is that man is going to stop listening to God and listen to what's tickling his own ears. Well, I beat this dead horse enough this week. I promise you next week we'll have some new material. I hope. I have a few things I'm going to be reading and listening to, and if there's any news out of there, I'll be glad to let you know about it. But right now, pay attention to the election. Pay attention to your leaders. Don't vote Democrat because you've always voted Democrat. Please pay attention to what they're talking about, what they're preaching, and what they're promising. Of course, half what they promise don't come true anyway, but we are stupid enough to believe that they mean what they say. And that's on us. All right, y'all have a great week. I'll talk to you Saturday if I'm feeling better still. If not, I'll talk to you when I talk to you again. Have a good day. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit any button down there. I don't care what you do. We'll talk to you later. Bye. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.